Hey team, thanks for stepping in to help. I've been tracking our regional revenues, expenses, and customer data here in Santa Fe, but the workbook is a bit of a mess and needs some serious polish. First, I need today's date dynamically added to the top of our revenue sheet. I also missed filling out the month names for our second quarter data, and honestly, our main row headers are completely unreadable right now. Can we merge those cells, flip the text vertically, and clean up the column widths so nothing gets cut off? Oh, and I accidentally left out our June numbers for the adults-only packages. That should be $37,855. Let's get these baseline totals and currency numbers formatted beautifully so I can actually present this.
Okay, so it looks like Jamar has a lot of things for you to do. He wants you to make the spreadsheet more readable so that the important information is accessible to your target audience. The first thing was a dynamic date. So we're going to use the date function. Go to the function dialog box here. You can start typing today, but I've used it, so it's right here in the list. And if you double click, it's there, and just hit enter. So there it is, today's date. Every time you open the spreadsheet, it will look at the computer's clock and update the date, so it'll be the current date. The next thing he wants to do is fill the range D to F4 with a series based on C4. So April, we're going to use the white, notice the white cursor change to a black cursor when we hover over this fill handle. And then Excel is smart enough to know the sequence here of dates, the months. So the next thing is A4. We've got the Santa Fe office. We want to merge and center that so it reads up and down to from 4 to 18. Okay, so what you're going to do is highlight 4 to 18, A4 to 18, then go to merge and center, click on merge and center, and then we're going to rotate the text so it reads bottom to top, so rotate text up, and then we're going to center it. These are the normal left, center, and right, but we're going to use top, middle, and bottom. We're going to middle align this so it fits right in there. And then we're going to change the column width of A to 5. So click on the column heading. I'm control clicking with a Mac here. I got column width in the pop-up menu. The original width is 8. We're going to delete that and put 5.00 only because that's what the text is asking for. So I want to follow it exactly. Say OK, and you'll notice it put that column on a diet. It's got a little bit smaller. Okay, the next thing he wants to do is auto fit the B column. You'll notice that the B column is getting cut off over here. Now, some people would just drag this, but if you double click on it, it'll automatically fit the largest entry. So that's called auto fit. Okay, then Jamar forgot the June adults only resort here. The revenue for that was $37,855. Okay, and then he wants to sum April. So if you go where the total is, we're going to go to the auto sum over here. You could also use this sum, same thing really. So we're going to sum this, and you'll notice the marquee comes up. Just make sure that marquee is not taking anything, like for instance, if this said quarter 1, it might add 1 to it. So we've got that. And now you could fill this across, but they're asking you to copy and paste it. So let's do exactly what they say. I'm Command C'ing this, and now I'm going to go to the other cells and Command V it. Okay, so pasting it also to the grand totals over here. All right, back to Jamar.
Wow, that data looks clean. Looks like you know your Excel functions. Next, I need a quick way to track performance trends across our different packages without staring at a wall of numbers. Can we add some micro trend lines right next to our data rows so I can see which packages are growing? I also need a statistical callout block that dynamically calculates our absolute lowest and highest revenue figures from April to July so we know exactly what our performance boundaries look like. Take it away, Professor Kokonos.
Thanks, Jamar. So step 6, we're going to format the non-adjacent cells C13 through F17. So let's grab those. And then non-adjacent cells can be selected using the Command key on the Mac, H13 to H17. Okay, so see what we mean here by non-adjacent. We're leaving the totals out. And we're going to adjust these using the comma style. This is the number styles over here, comma style. Okay, and no decimal places. So that would be here. Notice these hashtags, it just means it doesn't fit. But I think when we take away these decimals, it'll actually fit. Remember, you could have used autofit also. Okay, next is step 7. So Jamar wants to have some micro trend lines over here. So we go to cell G5, and we're going to insert a line spark line, which is a mini kind of trend chart based on the range C5 to F5. Okay, so let's go to insert and then spark lines, line. Okay, we want to select the data range. So we'll check it here, C5 to F5. Okay, and we want it to appear in cell G5. That should do it for us. Okay, so there's our trend line. You can see it's a steady trend up, and there we go. Now there's some formatting things. We're going to add markers. So there are 4 months, so you'll get markers here. If you check the marker box, you can see each month a little closer. And then we're going to change the marker color to black text 1. So here is the marker color. And we're going to choose black text 1. Make sure you just hover over it. Make sure you see the little screen tip pop up. Now we're going to copy cell G5 and then paste it into the range G6 to G9. Okay, so again, we can copy it and then paste it. And you'll see all those other trend lines appearing there. Probably could use the fill handle for this, but I'm just following exactly what's in the Cengage text to make sure we're not. Okay, so the next thing Jamar wants is statistical functions to give us the lowest and the highest revenue from April to July. So in C25, we're going to enter for the lowest, the minimum function. Okay, so let's insert that function there. And the range for this function is going to be C5 to F8. Okay, C5 to F8. What is the lowest value? Okay, so there it is. That is the lowest value. And then the highest value is going to be our maximum function. And in this case, you can do the same range, right? C5 to F8. And there's the maximum value. Now, obviously, you could peer through all these numbers and try to find the lowest and the highest. But imagine the spreadsheet was 1,000 entries. It would be much harder to do that. So the next thing, and I was actually marked wrong by this, so let's try to do it again really carefully here. Apply outside borders to the range B25 to C26 using green accent 2 as the border color. Okay, so let's go to the border control here. This is that. And then outside borders. Okay, we've got our outside borders there. Line color. Green accent 2. Okay, back to you, Jamar.
You really know your stuff. Can you take a look at my clustered column chart? Right now, it organizes our expenses by month, but that doesn't help me manage our budget. I want to see our expenses grouped by type instead. While you're at it, let's make it look client-ready. Add an axis title for monthly amount. Change the chart title to Expenses by Type. Tweak our July data series to a nice accent green, and give the whole chart a subtle border so it pops on the page.
Okay, so Jamar wants some work on this chart over here. The first thing he wants to do is switch the rows and columns. So you notice now we have the chart showing you the months and the legend is the categories. So if you click on the chart, you should see these new contextual menus appear, chart design and chart format. And we're going to go here to switch rows and columns. Okay, and now the categories became the actual data points and the months are in the legend. Okay, so step 2 says move the legend to the right side of the chart. All we have to do is select the legend here, and if you control click on it, you can format the legend and very simply just move it to the right. Add monthly amount as the primary vertical axis title. Okay, so here is what we're talking about. I'm going to highlight that and go to add chart element, axis titles, primary vertical. Okay, and then just double click on it. And he wants monthly amount. Okay, the next thing is to change the chart title. The placeholder is already there for us. Expenses by type. Change the fill color of the July data series. So you can see the July one is the last light green one. If you click on one of them, they all get selected. And now we can go to our format data series, fill, color, and we want green accent 3. I believe is this one. Yeah. So it's going to make it really pop, stand out like that. And then add a chart border using black text 1, lighter 50%. What we're going to do is, again, highlight the chart. I'm going to go to Format this time. And here is the shape. This is the shape border. Black text 1, lighter 50%. Okay, so we got a very kind of light line there. And we're back to Jamar.
This is great. Professor Kokino's really taught you how to work in Excel. For our upcoming executive board presentation, and I need 2 brand new visuals. First, I need a clean pie chart that isolates our April to July profit margins so leadership can instantly see our most profitable months displayed as percentages. Second, I want a dedicated full-page stacked column chart to show our total revenue breakdown across all of our core offerings like family, all-inclusive, and cruise packages. Let's move that to its own sheet, drop the generic title, and overlay an official data table with currency labels so the numbers speak for themselves. Do you think you can do all that?
In step 10, Jamar wants to create a pie chart that gives us the April to July profit. Okay, so the range is going to be C22 to F23. Okay, so C22 to F23, and then insert pie chart. Remember, pie charts are always based on 100%. So we're looking at parts of a whole. So this is going to give us a pie that's going to have the 4 slices for each of the months. Resize and reposition the chart. So we can just drag it around here. And the upper left corner is going to be within J20, which is this cell. As long as you're in there, you're good. Okay, and the lower right corner is going to be within P32. Okay, so P32 looks like it's right there. Okay, nice. And then April to July profit is going to be the chart title. So we just highlight the title and overtype. And then apply style 3 because he wants percentages, right? So here's the one that has the percentages, style 3. Nice. So that gives you right away. You don't have to interpolate what's going on. You know right away what percentage is what. And obviously, when we add these percentages, they're always going to equal 100%.
That looks great.
Okay, so now in step 11, he wants to create a stacked column chart based on the range B4 to F8. So we're going to go insert, column, stack column. Now for this one, he wants you to move it to its own sheet. So it's obviously an important chart. It's going to have its own sheet. Here is the move chart command. And what we're going to do is give it a new sheet, and the name of the sheet is going to be revenue chart. Okay, so that should give us a new chart right away, and there it is. Really stands out on its own. It's going to be style 7. That's just going to match the rest of the other charts that are in there. Change the font size. So with the whole chart selected again, we're going to go to Home and change the fonts to 12. That should change them all. Works. And then remove the chart title. It's redundant because it's on its own sheet. All right. We did that. So now step 12, format the values in the vertical axis using the accounting number format with no decimal places. So this is going to be format axis. We're looking for number. We want the accounting format. Okay, and the decimal places is 0. We're already set for that. So we're good. Add a data table with legend keys to the chart to display the revenue values. Okay, so if you have this chart selected again, add a chart element data table he wants, right? Data table with legend keys. Here we go. So that really gives you all the numbers. So you don't have to kind of glance back and forth at the other spreadsheet. And you can see what's going on with that. Remove the legend, which is now redundant. Okay, so let's get the legend selected. And I think what we need to do is just click delete with that selected. And there we go. It also makes the rest of the chart larger, which is better to see what's going on. Step 13, go to the business customer analysis worksheet, which compiles data about the New Mexico customer accounts that Jamar handles. Calculate the number of years a customer has been with luxury getaways as follows. So in cell E5, we have the current date here. How many years has this person been there? So you can see the current date and customer since. So by subtracting, we can figure out how long they've been a customer. Okay, so what we're going to do here is subtract the start date from the current date and then divide by 365.2, which accounts for the year. Okay, so the formula, all Excel formulas start with an equal sign. And we're going to subtract the start date from the current date. So let's put the current date in there first, C2 minus, you see I'm just clicking on the dates here. So here's customer since. Okay, and now we're going to divide this by 365.25, which accounts for leap years. Okay, so there's our formula. So what I want to do is also add the order of precedence here, just to be safe. So I'm going to put this in parentheses so that it does this subtraction first, and then it will divide. Okay, there we go. Use an absolute reference. So you see what happens if I pull this down, I may get these weird errors there because C2 is going down too in every formula. We want C2 to stay locked right here. So what we're going to do is make this an absolute value by saying $C, $2. Okay, and now let's recalculate. And now watch what happens when I pull down. Okay, so that works. So see what's happening here? When you look down, the D ones are relative to the row we're in, but C stays locked at C2. This is called an absolute reference. Things like, interest rates, sales tax, they might just be in one column, one cell, and you want that to stay locked. Display the value in E5 with 1 decimal place. Oh, I should have done that before. I'm sorry. So let's fix that. We want to add 1 decimal place. That would be this. Okay, and now let's recalculate just by pulling down. Okay, so a lot of them have a little bit more going on there.
This is so wonderful. Lastly, I want to automate our promotional workflows instead of guessing who qualifies for what. First, calculate exactly how long each account has been with us based on today's date. Then I need logical formulas that automatically flag Y or N for 3 specific marketing campaigns. Who qualifies for our 5-year loyalty discount? Who should get a new contract offer because they get a loyalty discount and book flights through us? And who qualifies for our free night promo because they live in southern New Mexico or booked an adults-only package? Finally, give me a quick summary at the top, showing our total client count and the average duration of our accounts, so I can check our overall retention rate.
Okay, so let's take a look at the last part here. So this is going to use some logical functions that are going to make some interpolations and some tests based upon this data here. So the first one is looking to see anyone who has been with the company more than 5 years. Again, you could scan this and figure it out, but imagine you had 1,000 customers. So what we're going to use is a function called if to make a logical test and see if the number is greater than 5. So let's see how this works here. For this discount, they have to be a member for 5 years. So we're going to say the function is going to be if the logical test is if the number of years is greater than, which is this sign, or equal to. So you can put both in there, greater than or equal to 5. Okay, so it tells us that the answer here is false for the first one. So the value, if true, is going to be yes or Y. So we're going to put it in quotes just so Excel knows it's not any type of value. It's more like a label. And if the answer is false, then we're going to put an N for no. Okay, so click done. And you can see this person is not getting the discount because they're not a 5-year member. When I pull down, though, you can see that anybody who gets the Y is more than 5 years or more. So that is the if function. Next, number 15, we're going to use the AND function for people who are doing 2 things or more. So they have to meet all the criteria for an AND function. So let's see what it is here. Determine whether each customer should receive a contract of and sell I5. Enter a formula using the AND function that tests whether the flight value is equal to Y and whether the discount value is equal to Y. Okay, so we need to have 2 Y's here basically. So let's get the AND function, and you can have up to 255 different logical tests here. So the first one is if this cell equals, and I'm going to put it in quotes again, Y, and that one is true. But the second test is going to be, is this cell, H5, equal to the same thing, quotes Y. Okay, so that one is false. So now we'll say, and obviously they didn't meet both criteria, so they didn't get the discount. Pull it down, and you can see that there aren't many people, but the people who are true met both criteria. Okay, now the last one here for the logical test is going to be a function called OR. So that function is any of the criteria have been met. So you may have, again, 255 different criteria. As long as someone meets at least one criteria, then the answer will be true, or what you specify you want true to be. J5, it says free phone. I think there's something wrong, something different, but hopefully it's going to do the same thing. So enter the function using the OR function, okay, that tests whether the location is equal to S. So that's the first logical test then. And again, I'm putting it in quotes. Or whether the plan type is adults only. So the plan type equals, and again in quotes, And I would do it the same way as far as caps and everything. Okay, so that person didn't meet either of the logical tests. But you can see that some people did meet it, so this person didn't meet the location one, but they did meet the adults only one. Here, adults only, they met both actually. This one, they actually met both too. But remember, it's an OR function as long as they meet one of them. Okay, number 17, we're almost done here. Number of customers. So again, we could count them, but we're going to let Excel do it for us. So we're using the count A function, which counts cells that are not blank or empty. Okay, so we're going to, in M4, enter a formula using count A to count the number of IDs. Okay, so there's count A, insert the function. The value is going to be this range right here, and 15. Then the average years as customer. In cell M5, enter a formula using the average function to average the number of years. Okay, so average, and we're going to average this range right here, the number of years, 3.5. Okay, we are absolutely done.
You are absolutely fantastic. I want to hire you right now as our full-time data analyst. When you submit this file to Cengage, if you score 90 or above, you will receive a digital badge that can be displayed on your resume, portfolio, and LinkedIn. Congratulations!